What's going on, guys? You are on the sidelines with the Sideline guys. I am Chris.
And I'm Derrick.
Welcome back, everybody. It's a great week. What
Yes,
a time
sir.
to be alive. Once again, shout out to our boy Damien for coming on last week. That was super fun. I
Oh
had a
yeah,
great time.
yeah. Gotta bring
Um,
him back.
yes, sir. ASAP.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we got interesting things to talk about this week. It's not a big sports week. We'll be
Yeah,
honest about that. But
yeah.
we do the digging. We
Oh yeah.
find the angles, and of course, even on a week that isn't too crazy, there's just so much to talk about. So looking forward to getting right into it.
Yes, sir.
So on the MMA angle, it's only right that I do a little quick recap of last week's fights. I was really excited about this event. It was originally the main event was supposed to be Rafael dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev, the battle of the Rafaels.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that fight ended up getting pushed back. But we got a great main event besides it, and what I think is really a big breakout star. So let me start out a little bit before that. A big feel good story this week, man. I couldn't believe it. And it made me some coin. I'm humble, you know what I'm saying? But
Good.
I made a nice $30 on this fight. Jim Miller up against a newcomer in the UFC named Nicholas Moda.
Mm.
This man is 36 years old and still doing the damn thing. They keep putting him up against newcomers in the UFC, and he keeps finishing these guys. You know, you gotta learn your lesson coming up. Just a true vet, and what I love about his game too is that he's known for being a grappler, and everyone sort of just assumes that he's the sort of grind you out, take you down guy because the amount of
Mm-hmm.
submissions he has on his record.
Mm-hmm.
But the way his stand up has improved over his career is insane. Like he was going toe to toe with Mata. There was moments where he did get cracked. He got rocked.
Yeah.
And what I find interesting is guys in his stage of the career, when he gets cracked, he doesn't go down. Like he's not getting dropped. But he sort of freezes for a second. And there was a moment there where he got hurt bad. It was a big right hand that his opponent landed, and he didn't really follow up on it, but you saw him sort of like almost go down, but then
Yeah.
find his equilibrium again, and ended up sort of really chopping at the legs and eventually landing a crazy right hand in exchange that knocked out his opponent. His opponent was out before he hit the ground. And even he had to say, you know, after the fight, like he was pissed off at the ref because the
Mm-hmm.
ref took a while to stop it. But shout out to Jim Miller. He said he's tied again for the record for most wins in the UFC,
Yeah.
which is just nuts. Just soldiering on, doing the damn thing. He's someone I root for no matter what. And if they keep putting him up against guys who are joining the UFC and still haven't really got their foot wet in the deep end,
Mm-hmm.
this guy's gonna be around for a real long time. His goal, as you know, he fought at UFC 100, UFC 200. He wants to stick around and fight again at UFC 300, and I think
Jesus.
it's possible. I think it's possible. It's crazy.
Where are we? 272? Coming up with 272?
Yep.
That's not far.
Next week. Next
Yeah,
week's
that's not
272.
yeah, that's not far at all to get 300. That's 300 would be like what next year, right?
About 2 years from now.
2
Yeah,
years?
something like that.
Because as many shows as they do, it almost seems like that could be. Yeah, that's right. That would be 2 years.
And every
That's not.
year I
That's not
feel like
far.
it's more shows somehow. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how
yeah,
they manage it, but yeah.
yeah. Because it's weird. Like it's like in between the pay-per-views, there are shows.
Mhm.
It's like almost
Exactly.
like WWE at this point. So very interesting, but I love it.
Yeah, man, doing
Yeah,
the damn thing,
most definitely.
and they always talk about his battle with Lyme disease because that's not
Mm-hmm.
something that goes away. That's something that sticks with you your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So just the resilience, man. How can you hate on Jim Miller? Like this is a
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
If you're looking at it the right way, he's really the guy that introduced in the mainstream kind of part of MMA, he introduced the calf kick. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
he he almost stopped. I was there live in the Barclays Center. He almost stopped Poirier with leg kicks.
That's
That's
right.
Dustin
That's
Poirier.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So Jim Miller is that dude. If you hate on Jim Miller, get away from me. That's all
Yeah.
I gotta say. That was a really fun fight. It was awesome to see him get the win. And then the co-main event. This was really fun for me. Kyle Dawkins, he has a brother in the UFC, Chris Dawkins, and for a long time he's sort of been in his shadow. because Chris Dawkins got a lot more opportunities than he has. And even in this fight, this isn't really a big name opponent. He was fighting up against Jamie Pickett, who a big contender series guy. You know, they were ready to build him up. Hasn't done too well in the UFC just yet, but he has a bright future. I think he's pretty good. And Kyle Dawkins finished him early, and I was big on Kyle Dawkins. I actually made money on this one too. A little $6 play. We not crazy, but it was really cool. Exactly, a win is a win. It was really cool for me to see not only the way he won, because he was super dominant, very assertive with his grappling, but it was a buzzer beater. It was at 4 minutes and 59 seconds of the first round. So caught it right at the end with the Darce choke, and it was beautiful. I thought that there's no way he would have got it because it was that close. And he tapped, and he said after the fight that the reason he tapped was because his tongue was stuck in between his teeth, and he said he felt like he was literally gonna bite his tongue off. So understandable 100%. Obviously, you got to do what you got to do, but the talking point for everyone was like, your coach has got to be screaming out the time, like so you don't make that error. But I don't look at that as an error, dude. That's a forced error, if anything. So and the best part about it, excuse me, the best part about it for Kyle Dawkins is he's a guy that obviously he's trying to get out of his brother's shadow a little bit. The main thing you need to do in this game, because this game takes so much away from pro wrestling, they're not going to promote you. Even if you're the co-main event, you got to promote yourself, and then they'll get on that bandwagon. You see it with guys like Masvidal, and who's fighting next week. Unless you're doing things on your own to sort of prop yourself up, they're not going to just go out their way. I mean, they tell your story, don't get me wrong, but they won't go out of their way to sort of prop you up. You give them an angle, and they'll prop you up even more. So he after getting the Darce, he called out Tony Ferguson. I don't like that. Obviously, they're not in the same weight class, but it wasn't to fight him. He was saying, basically, I got the best Darce in UFC. Like, I got more Darces than Tony Ferguson. And he was like, from now on, he's like, I want y'all to call me the Darce Knight. And I was like, dude, like a little cheesy, but it fits and it works. It works. Yeah, it works. So that was super cool, and just trying to find a way to market himself. That's important. I think he's a real big prospect in that division. I really do. I think his striking and his grappling has really caught up. And if you're a grappling first fighter, you don't really need that. So it's good to see he's constantly improving, and I think he has a high future for sure, man.
Most definitely.
So this main event, dude, I told you about this. This is the only fight I told you about because I was like, you gotta look out for Jamal Hill. This is a guy who, in his UFC career, all of his fights has been finishes. Even his only loss, he got submitted, broke his arm, didn't tap, was trying to fight with his arm literally swinging.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Crazy. Yeah, but the kind of fighter he is, I love his swag. I love his style. This is a guy who he got a different air about him. Like, there's not a lot of guys in the UFC that are like him, and I say that because he's very mature, very methodical, but he's mean. Like he you could see he's all about his business in the best way possible when it comes to the fight game. And I love the scowl. Even after finishing these guys, he's not smiling. He's not hyped. He's pissed. And I love it. He got a real edge to him. And something that I found really cool, he's been saying this for a while now. But he's like, these guys keep sleeping on me and the doctor keep waking them up. And that's just such a great line, bro. Like, I love everything about him. He's got the full package and an exciting fighter. Finished guys like Ovin Prue. This fight against Johnny Walker was really fun. Obviously, Johnny Walker's entertainer to the highest degree. This man came out to that club song, that let's get down.
Yeah.
So he's like dancing at the check-in, like doing all, like, obviously he was a former Chippendales dancer, so that's his thing, you know, trying to play to the crowd in that way. And then he just gets sparked out in the first round after coming out dancing to the octagon, and the punch that connected, beautifully timed shot right across the chin, but right across the temple, sorry. And when he dropped, I never seen nothing like this. It's the most Johnny Walker way to get knocked out. Like this man, like it look like it looked like something out of a cartoon. Like when you hear like the
Yeah.
and like they're falling, like he got hit and then he was on his way down and he did like a on the way down. That's the, it looked so crazy and obviously just shows the kind of power that Jamal Hill has. And he was
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
before he hit the ground in a bad way that he fell back onto the fence and he was trying to find the fence on his way down, so you see he's kind of there instinctually,
Mhm.
but the way he just ended up really folded up against the fence. Really bad knockout. Like I hope he gets the proper rest after this to sort of recover,
Yeah,
because I feel
yeah,
like they always love throwing him back in there
yeah.
after he gets finished. But Jamal Hill, dude, like this guy's a beast. I'm excited to see what's next for him. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put him up against somebody in that top five next. It
Yeah.
was just that kind of win, and also being put into the main event after that happened and coming away big like that.
Hmm.
You just know he's getting the rub from that. And this is a dude that got 6 kids. Like
Yeah.
he's 30 years old. He's been a parent since he was 16. Like
I
just a
can't
different cat.
imagine. I can't imagine. Like
Yeah, man.
that's a lot. That's a lot of kids.
Dude, and you
At
had your
that
first
young.
daughter, dude.
That
Your
young.
first daughter's 14. Like
Bro.
that's insane.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but
God bless him.
man, yeah, God bless him, especially because there's not a lot of fathers out here that are doing their fucking job,
Oh
and
yeah,
clearly
yeah, yeah.
he's doing the
Yeah.
damn thing. And he had one of his sons with him all week today, which I found really nice too. Like you and you could see his son is not like him in the best way. Like not
Yeah.
not that it's bad that he's the way he is, but
Hmm.
you could tell he's being raised right, which is beautiful to see. So
Yeah.
Jamal Hill, that's a name to look out for. Yeah, I promise.
Most definitely.
And 205 needs him. I promise you, 205 needs him.
You need
But
as
this
much
week,
talent as you can
man,
get, man.
dude. So quickly, I think it's only right that we talk about this because we talked about this a lot on the show.
Yeah.
Um, hate talking about this, but it just is what it is. The body cam footage came out of
Yeah.
that night with John Jones.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 205 division is what sparked me to think of this. But
Mhm.
did you see the video?
I couldn't find it.
Mm.
I
Okay, I'll
couldn't
send it
find
to
it.
you. I'll
Yeah.
send it to you. Really hard to watch. Like you could tell, super inebriated. But the thing is, the common theme that we always talk about on this show, like no accountability. Like
At
he's
all.
he's asking the officers, he's crying like bad. He's like, "What did I do? Like I
Hmm.
didn't do anything." And when you know what happened,
Hmm.
with obviously with all the stuff that came out with the hotel and the
Hmm.
security there,
Hmm.
um, it just really continues to ring that same bell. The same things we were talking about, no accountability on that end.
Hmm.
And another great example of this is apparently around Christmas time, his fiance, God bless her, they're no longer together anymore. She got out of that situation,
Yeah.
and he had the nerve, I believe it was 2 days ago now,
I saw it.
to make a post on Twitter, almost
Yeah.
like woe is me the whole situation. Like,
Yeah.
oh, for all the John Jones haters out there, my fiance left me 2 months ago, and she confirmed she's not coming back. I feel like crap.
Yeah.
And it's like, what kind of post is that? Like it's almost like blaming her, like, oh, she left me, feel bad for me.
Yeah. But this is why I
Disgusting.
don't this is why I feel like we like as much training as he does or whatever, I don't know how we're gonna actually see him get back into the cage. I really don't, because it's like he won't accept responsibility for anything. So if anything happens beforehand, like God bless who's ever around him, because I don't know how he's gonna really like react. He's one of those guys that's just so unpredictable outside of the cage, and you have so much to lose. You have like, even regardless of how the relationship went with his fiance, like that's the mother of your kids, bro. Like you've got
Mhm.
outside of just the money aspect, you have a lot that you could actually lose with just your kids. Like, and
Very well
he's not
said.
he's not thinking. He's not thinking. And I would love to see him fight again, but you pair all this with the fact that his dispute with UFC over the money issues, I don't know how we're gonna see him fight again. Not in UFC. I don't see it. I think some other promotion will figure out what they have to do in order to pay him the money to come fight there. But I just don't see what he's gonna be able to do
Hmm. I'm
unless he's
sorry.
willing to not pay, unless he's willing not to demand that money.
Mhm.
Then I could see where this just like, hey, so what? He's had these issues. Let's put him in there and fight, get this money, and like I can see that happening. But I don't know.
Mhm. The strangest part about it is I kind of feel like we're past the money issue. Like the UFC came out and even said that as well. I
Mm,
don't think that's the problem anymore. Um, I think there's no way if he fights anywhere, it's in the UFC. There's no way they're letting him fight anywhere else. There's no way they'll let him go. That contract, he's still on the contract that
how
doesn't
many more
end.
fights?
So, um, I believe, I believe he has at least 2 or 3. But he's on the contract that doesn't end. So there's no sunset clause. It's not like he could wait like Ngannou did and find a way to end up where he's actually a free agent. That's
Mm,
impossible.
okay,
He's under contract and they ain't letting him go. 100%, regardless of all his troubles. The main reason why all he ever got was a slap on the wrist is because he's one of the guys historically that can make the money. There's not
for
many of them.
sure,
Let's
for
be
sure,
clear about that.
for sure.
So I really feel like the strange part about it is I feel like this more so than anything before really solidifies that he's going to fight again. And not because of the glory, not because of whatever, but in
Mm,
a lot of ways, this is all he got left. And
yeah,
and that's crazy to say because obviously when you dominate the game the way he has, because
mm,
us just be frank, that's what he's done.
oh yeah,
Um, you think that this is what sort of your life revolves around.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But when your family's with your family in turmoil and all these issues going on with nobody's fault but your own,
yeah.
um, I'm sure that the only thing really to do for him is this. And I say that obviously I don't know what's going on, but I don't know or what could happen. But at the end of the day, he's got with the team that I honestly trust. I really feel like Henry Cejudo's team is really a really good team, and it's not even just about the level of training. It's really about the mental side of things and being
Mm-hmm,
able to hone yourself in. We saw that with Davison Figueiredo in the
mm-hmm,
rematch with Brandon Moreno,
mm-hmm.
and even with Zhang Wei Li when she went over
Yeah,
there. And this is in one camp. You don't
yeah,
see that.
yeah,
There's not many camps where you could go there and have an effect on your game in one training camp. Historically, that's not the case.
yeah,
So I feel like he's in a good spot training with guys like Yuri Prochazka, who also went to that camp now, one of my
yeah,
favorite fighters.
yeah.
Um, I won't be surprised if he comes back and does well. I really won't. Um, but the biggest thing that I will be surprised by is if this is the last scandal we hear of, because
I don't
that's just
expect
the
it to be.
dude he is.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be the last one. It's almost like every 2 years something comes out.
Mhm.
We're due for another scandal pretty soon.
But real quick, the funniest part about that video, because we love laughing at John Jones,
Yes, yes.
is he's crying. So this is like through tears. So obviously, I don't want to make the sounds he made, but he was like, "You're gonna do this to a young black man after he just made the Hall of Fame," and then and then you hear, and then it gets so quiet for like 3 seconds, and then you hear the police officer go, "The Hall of Fame," and and then he respond like that pissed him off so bad. Like there was a beat after the police officer said it, and then he
Yeah,
slams his head on the hood of the car, on his own accord.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
they
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
they weren't they
yeah,
weren't slamming him.
yeah,
Uh, Honestly, I say this in all sincerity. We laugh at him, we make fun of him. I really do hope he finds what he needs because it's been clear that regardless of him taking the God angle and saying everything he needs to say, getting the right PR people behind him to try to help him,
yeah, yeah.
um, it's not working. It's
It
not
really
working.
isn't. It
And
really
every
isn't.
time I think of John Jones, I really think of the rivalry with Cormier and that
Mm,
beautiful line that he said. He's like, "I'm looking at your poor PR person in the eyes, and there's fear because she knows she's fighting a losing battle,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
true. Like it's
yeah.
really true. So I don't wish bad things on John Jones. I really don't. even though he'll remind everyone that everyone is.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I just hope that for his sake and the people adjacent to him,
Hmm.
he's able to make those decisions and come out better for it. Because there's no reason why someone this, let's be frank, historically great can be this historically bad as a person.
Hmm.
In all honesty of
Hmm.
things, I can't think of another in any sport, another athlete like this,
Yeah,
where they're in the headlines getting arrested and they face no consequences. There's
yeah,
no issues.
yeah,
I feel like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's still MMA being in its infancy. I feel like news outlets aren't really even getting on this the
yeah,
way they would if this was someone in the NFL, if
yeah,
this was someone in the NBA.
yeah,
Um, I feel like that maybe would help a little more, but we're not in that stage for whatever reason.
yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna take, but uh, dude needs it. God bless him. I hope he figures it out. But it's not even as a selfish fight fan thing. It's just as a person, this man has been through some shit,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, something I've been going through a lot this week is really thinking about the plight of being famous, because
yeah,
I don't. That's something that, as we do the show, obviously we want exposure. We want people to watch the show, but I don't know if that's something that I want. I don't know if I
oh
want to not be able to walk around
no,
properly. And
I
he's
don't
been in
want it.
that spot since he was 23.
Yeah, yeah,
So
because then think, yeah, you think about it, like your brain isn't fully developed at 23. Like I remember at 20, god, I was still really like stupid in certain ways at 23. Like I remember how that felt, but I mean, he's what,
30 now,
30?
30, 31, I think.
Like at this, like it was more of an excuse back then. Like I can understand it back then, but like right now, I don't I don't like it's not fully acceptable anymore. You like you've got to grow up at some point, and it's almost
Mhm.
as if someone like him, it takes like the very foundation of rock bottom for it for it to finally start to click. Like I need to go ahead and change my ways. I don't even think he's fully hit rock bottom yet.
Yeah, that's so crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And I think a big part about that is what you said. I think being in the position he's been in his career,
Mm,
you're taking shots
mm,
before your brain is fully developed.
mm.
So I'm sure that all plays a part in it. Like
Yeah.
I know he's 34 years old, by the way, so I got that
34. Okay.
entirely wrong.
Well, that's even
But
worse.
exactly. I'm I'm pretty sure that this has something to do with brain trauma and the effects of it,
I'm pretty sure it
regardless
does.
of
Yeah.
whether or not um, anyone wants to admit it. Some people are more predisposed to others to have these sort of reactions and these sort of emotional, let's call it emotional immaturity, like not
Yes.
being able
Yes.
to really understand the weight of your actions and not having the proper impulse control to sort of take care of those things, because we've heard the song and dance 6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take. Like you said, I really don't know what it's going to take, but I hope for the sake of everyone around him that he's able to figure that out for sure.
For sure. I hope so.
Oh man, that got dark as hell, dude.
That did, man. It
Let's
did.
move on.
That did.
I mean, how could it not with John Jones?
I
How could it
mean,
not?
yeah, yeah. He doesn't help himself, so it is what it is.
Yeah, man. So next up, I'm really excited about this week's card. It's a sneaky card. This isn't one of those
Yeah,
that has a whole bunch of big fights. This is one of those in between shows. But there's a lot of prospects here that I want to get the word out about on, because I'm really high on these guys. Now, let me
for
make this
sure.
clear though. This first fight right here, I'm torn, dude, because I'm a huge fan of Terence McKinney. So let me get the matchup out of the way. Terence McKinney versus Fares Ziam. This is at lightweight, 155 pounds. Let me tell you a little bit about Terence McKinney, because I'm super invested in his career right now.
Mhm.
He's someone who in high school was ranked top 10 in America in wrestling. That's important to
Ooh,
mention, because he's not a wrestler in MMA. He's purely a striker, and high octane one in that. At his UFC debut, he got a knockout in 6 seconds against Matt Frivola. Quick, sharp 1-2, dropped him and put him to sleep. And he celebrates after, jumps up on the cage, lands weirdly on his knee, and injures himself. So the story then becomes about
I did see that.
the story
I
then
remember
becomes
that.
about, it's almost like a jackass moment.
Yeah.
Like he's everyone's super hype, and you literally saw it on his face. Like
Yeah.
he was hype as hell celebrating, and then
Yeah.
he's like, "Hold on, like, something's wrong. Like something's not right here." And this is only 6 months ago, so I
Yeah.
don't know how severe that knee injury was. Obviously not nothing too crazy because he's back. But what makes his story even more interesting is it's not just about the um the wrestler aspect. He
Mhm.
he ended up not going to college for wrestling because he got really heavy into partying and that lifestyle, and he really heavy. Let me specify that. And there's video, and of course, this is now really a big part of his story of an incident that he had where he was partying, and he admits that he was on mushrooms and took acid at the same time.
Oh.
So he clinically overdosed on acid and would have died. Well, technically, he did die twice, and they were able to resuscitate him and keep him alive. And something that has been really beautiful about his message is he took literally the body cam footage of him. You see him on the floor on a fence, sort of propping himself up. You can see it's all types of fucked up. He has no idea where he is,
Mm.
and they put together like a really dope edit of that song, big body band, I used to be
Yeah.
dusty, and
Yeah.
sort of showed that aspect, and then finished off the sequence showing him getting the knockout in the UFC and a lot of his
Mhm.
finishes and his success. And he's really propping up, you know, people doing the right thing and and finding the help that they need and
Yeah. Yeah.
pursuing
Yeah.
their dreams. Like he's just a very inspirational guy, and an exciting fighter. So when those
Yeah.
two things
Yeah.
match up, you can't help but be excited for him. But he's coming up against the biggest test of his career, man. And I think that Faraz Ziam doesn't get the respect he deserves because he has some losses in the UFC.
Mm.
But this is someone that's 6'1" at 155 pounds. That's rare,
Whoa.
and has a very long reach and is a striker himself. So
Yeah.
this is really going to be an interesting matchup. One that was scheduled for over a year now. Unfortunately, some stuff happened. Well, not over a year, 6 months now, and it got pushed back because of an unfortunate incident. But I'm really excited for this one because it's a pick'em. This is there's no
Yeah.
favorite in this
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
According to the odds, this is a pick'em fight, and I think that if Terence McKinney really shines in this spot, I think that he's on for big things moving forward. And I'm picking him. I'm high on him. I'll take it right here on the show. I'm gonna put a bet on him.
Okay.
This is who I think is gonna win. But it's always risky
Yeah.
putting a bet on someone when it's a pick 'em fight like that because there's no real advantage for you.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
putting a dollar to get a dollar back.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped, and I'm telling you, watch out for this guy because even if it doesn't work out for this one, he has a lot of growth still to be had in his time in the UFC. So I'm excited about that one.
Definitely check him out.
So next up, Zurong versus Ignacio Bahamundes. I'm also like this right here. Besides another fight on the prelims that I'm not going to get too much into, I think
Mm.
this is the fight of the night of the card because
Okay.
both of these guys, first of all, Zurong, if I'm not mistaken, he is the youngest fighter in the UFC.
Mm.
And that's a hard spot to be in.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
lost his debut, but it was a very close fight, one that he was winning early and then sort of got in some trouble late because of cardio issues. If I'm not mistaken, it was a short notice fight as well, so that's a little more understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming up against Ignacio Bahamundes, whose last performance was a spinning wheel kick KO. So a lot of hype on him. One of the knockouts of the year last year, and somebody who is an all action fighter. Like this is a guy.
Mm.
He's not the best defensively, but
Mm.
he's a monsoon offensively. He's not a big puncher, but he's a volume puncher. and really like that Spanish style of just getting in your face, keeping your hands high, and let's go to war. Like that's what he's about.
Yeah.
And just the performance he had in the last fight really got me pumped for this one. I really feel like this matchup, I think that listen, I know I sound like I'm high on Ignacio, but my bet is on Zurong because this kid, there's a lot of hype on him. He comes out of the Chinese Performance Institute, which is literally a place that the UFC decided y'all need to hone the talent you guys have here, because it's clear that y'all have a lot of young fighters that have a ton of potential, and there's been a lot of fighters coming out that are in this camp, and they say he's the best out of all of them, and given that he's so young, just excited about the potential, obviously, and it's
Yeah.
time to realize that. And against someone who has some hype on their name and who has a style that isn't defensive, I could really see him getting a finish in this one and really, really putting his name on the map in a big way. So if you're like me, get on the underdog as fast as you can, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, this guy's good. Don't listen to the record. Really look at the skills, and he
Yeah.
has them. So I'm excited for this fight, man.
And we've talked about that before. Even going over the NFL season, this last season, like all records aren't the same.
Exactly.
They just aren't.
Exactly. So I'm so hyped for that one. And then this is another prospect fight right here. At I think this is at 185. I think it's at 185 because Gregory has fought us 205 as well. But this is Armin Petrosian versus Gregory Rodriguez. He has no relation to the kickboxer Petrosian, but I'm super excited about this fight because this isn't a one-sided fight. This is two prospects and two very different prospects. Gregory Rodriguez is a grappler first, but has really developed his striking in a big way. He got knocked out in the Contender Series and then eventually won his way into the UFC and then got two finishes in the UFC. So really found himself on the right track after having that setback. I think a lot of people really discount what that does for a fighter.
Yeah.
Especially in MMA. I feel like you take those L's and it's almost looked at like, oh, he got nothing or whatever. But in the reality of it, it takes a lot of guys to have that in order to understand what they need to do to fix their game.
Yeah.
And I think that he really took those steps to really fix his game. I really like his stand up, even though he's a little stiff. He reminds me of Jacare. He trains under Jacare's original trainer as well, out of Brazil. And he's a little stiff on the feet, a little stiff, but the power's there. You see it. He's delivered on it, and he's fighting a guy that's the complete opposite. This is someone who has extensive kickboxing record, if I'm not mistaken, 76-6, and he is so fluid on the feet. He got a big knockout in the Contender Series, and that's what got him this shot in the UFC. And he's fighting someone that's already established, so there's not a lot of hype on him. Look out for this guy, because even if it doesn't come through in this one, even if he ends up getting a prospect loss and sort of getting submitted, this guy's good. And you could see the difference. Just like, I love to look at fighters, and this might not come off as a notable thing to mostly anybody, but I like to watch the way strikers walk around the ring, to walk in their stance, retreating and advancing.
Yeah.
It's not a skill that everyone has. I promise you, if you have not trained, I implore you, get in a boxing stance, whether it's orthodox or southpaw, and walk forward. And you're gonna see it's not that it's hard mechanically. It's hard to do that the right way. And he's a guy that's super fluid in both directions and lands big shots,
which is very rare.
Exactly. Finds big shots. So I'm really excited about this one. I honestly am staying away from this one. I feel like it's that kind of fight. Like either of these guys could win big, and you're like, oh, I'm not surprised. Like that, it makes sense. So I love them when the matchmakers do that, because it's very rare in boxing that they put up two prospects like that against each other, and it's sort of like, let's find out who's better right now. Because I could see a situation where one of these guys win and then the other one ends up more successful in their career. Like that's the kind of matchup this is. So what were you about to say?
This has nothing to do with the card itself, but
Mm-hmm.
based on what you just said with the matchmakers, could you see where the UFC actually kind of like launches a boxing promotion? Like, could you see that? Because like Dana White is a boxing fan, right? But
Boxing coach, whether or not you believe it, he used to be a cardio kickboxing coach.
really,
Yep,
I didn't know.
that's how he ended up becoming a manager before he
Okay,
came into the UFC. He was a cardio kickboxing coach.
okay. Well, and see, like I already know we've discussed the pay scale and everything, but in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the ability to make these matches at the right times, uh, when they need to be made, and maybe if you miss it by like a year or so, it's still in that frame, the time frame where it's like this doesn't feel like it's beyond the time that it should have taken place. Like the Jones Cormier fight felt right at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Um, could you see where the UFC eventually enters the boxing game and has a boxing promotion itself?
I definitely can. And the funniest part about it is Zuffa Boxing already exists. There's an LLC for it. It already exists. It just
Okay,
nothing has happened.
nothing's
Nothing
happened.
has come of
Okay,
it. And
okay.
this sort of came to be around the time of the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest angle. He even had the Zuffa Boxing shirts, and he
That's
was
right.
wearing
That's
them on
right.
the
That's right.
tour.
That's right.
So the reason why I think he hasn't ended up in that space in a real way is three reasons. One, the boxing world is already so crowded.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the established money that the boxing world has is
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
completely different thing. And
yeah.
honestly, if they do get into boxing, the funny part about it is what makes them attractive is the fact that they do that. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they'll be able to replicate that model in boxing because it's a
Yeah,
completely different game.
yeah,
You're not going to be able to have the money to put those guys in that position. And
yeah.
then three, my main thing is if they do it, it's not going to be for boxing. It's going to be to get guys in the UFC in boxing matches. That's what it's going to be for. It's not going to be for
Oh,
the
gotcha.
purity of boxing. It's going to be
Okay.
sort of to set up a lane where certain guys want to make that jump and they could be like, all right, you're the big enough kind of guy that we could do it, but you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do it under our banner.
Yeah,
So that's the only way I see that working out. But I would be pleasantly surprised. I want to see if he could succeed in that lane too, because
yeah,
I don't think he can. And the reason why I don't think
yeah.
he can is the UFC model.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly, if the UFC was at an advanced stage as far as collective bargaining and all those things, the same way boxing is, the model won't be this way. There's not
Oh,
going to
not
be
at all.
prospects fighting prospects. There's not going to be any of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's gonna be headed towards that boxing model. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, it's so crazy, but fans are brainwashed. A lot of
Yeah,
the times, the angle is almost like, why do you even want that? Because
yeah,
that's where we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
head
yeah,
head
yeah,
towards.
yeah.
But obviously, it's always about putting fighters' needs first because they're the ones. They're the product. there's no,
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing that you're
Without
offering
them,
as a promoter.
yeah,
Period. As
yeah.
a promoter. Period. He's not a good promoter.
He's
This is
not.
someone that 100% shits on fighters that he's promoting,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of if it's a favorable matchup or not. Look what he did with
Mm-hmm.
Francis Ngannou. Like this is a guy that's a promoter's dream. This guy looks
Yes,
like an Adonis,
yes,
and
yes.
he's backing it up and growing his skills.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense to me that he shows up as a in the promoter in the world you're in, that he shows up to these press conferences after and he's shitting on his fighters like, oh,
Yeah,
why, I can't believe he did that, it wasn't a good fight, but yeah, he got the win.
yeah,
That's not your job as a promoter, dude. Like you
yeah.
see people like I don't know why I just blanked on his name. Canelo's report original promoter, uh Eddie Hearn. This is a
Mm-hmm.
guy,
Mm-hmm.
even when his fighters lose in
Mm-hmm.
these interviews, he's propping them up. He's talking about the reasons why they're good, not
Yeah,
what
yeah,
went
yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah.
So at his core, I feel like Dana White, don't get me wrong, he did a lot of great things for the sport, and it won't be in the place it is now if it wasn't for him, because
Mm-hmm.
he was their original Sports Center hit. The
He was.
shit he
He was.
said
Yeah.
was what got them on Sports Center, not even
Yeah.
what was being done.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, I got respect for Dana, whatever. but I don't see them being a successful boxing venture anytime soon.
Shoot, yeah, it might not be successful, but
They're gonna try it. I know they're gonna try it
man.
eventually. I know they will.
It's because it almost makes too much sense. You see so many people trying to go in there, and especially after Paul called him out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be interesting to see. It would just be interesting to see.
I agree. And we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
But this main event, I'm pumped for it, dude. I'm so pumped for this fight. Islam Makhachev, another guy that, in my opinion, benefited so much from his loss, his lone loss against Adriano Martins in the UFC. That fight was crazy. I remember watching that live and I freaked out. I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't expect him to get knocked out like that. He got slept bad against someone who was a journeyman in the UFC, not really super successful. But anyway, he's turned his career around heavily since then. He was originally supposed to be fighting Beneil Dariush. Unfortunately, Beneil ended up fracturing his leg. I believe that was the injury.
Yeah.
So Bobby Green, who just fought 2 weeks ago, stepped up to the plate like a damn G.
I thought I was seeing things. So I was like, there's no way in hell he's actually fighting this weekend. That's wild. That's wild.
And after going the distance too, like it's not like he got a quick knockout and then he came back. No, he went the distance. It was a one-sided fight though. Like he dominated. It's not like he didn't dominate, but still. And I the reason why I'm excited for this fight isn't because, you know, this is a technical matchup that's in his favor. Like let's be real.
Yeah.
I think Islam Makhachev is a complete fighter, and a lot of people really don't understand that. A lot of people look at him like he's Khabib. I honestly think he's better than Khabib, and that's crazy to think about because he's not better than Khabib in the grappling aspect. He's better than Khabib in his well-rounded skill set. This is someone that comes forward striking in a way that Khabib never could, and is a kick first striker. You don't really see that often from wrestlers. Usually they're all about, you know, the boxing into the wrestling. This is someone who mixes it up extremely well. But the reason why I'm really excited about this fight is because the nature of it, the way it came together, and Bobby Green is the type of guy that no matter what, he's going after it. Like regardless of if he doesn't care. If he gets finished, regardless of whatever, he's coming to fuck you up. Let's be clear. That's his only goal. And he loves it. Like he's a super exciting fighter. He's one of those guys that you want to have the TV up when he's fighting. Yeah. Because he's not just fighting. He's in there talking shit. He's in there performing. So I'm really excited for this one. I personally am putting a flyer on Bobby Green, and it's not because I think he's gonna win. I'm gonna be real. It's because he's a plus 500 underdog, and he has a puncher's chance, dude. He has a puncher's chance in the biggest way possible. Because he's not a big one-shot guy, but I feel like that accumulation and finding those spots, I think that is something that he could find his lane in. And just seeing those odds that inflated is always like this is MMA. This isn't boxing. Like there's no limit to the unpredictable things that could happen. But Bobby Green is just a different cat, man. This dude is shaved bald, tattooed head, got a beard that goes up and down like a freaking the mountains. I don't even know what to call it. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I was when I first saw his beard, I was like, bro, that is different, man.
That's not the way. Yes, sir.
He is a different type of guy for sure. Yeah, I can see why you put money on him though. I can see why you're gonna put money on him. How much you gonna put on him though?
Bro, less than $2. Less than $2. I ain't stretching it. I'm gonna put a parlay with Makhachev that'll put me in a place to make some money back. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta sprinkle. You know what I'm saying?
Man, why not?
You gotta find those odds, dude. Two to get $10 back.
Yeah.
And then you can make a $10 bet that's basically free because after that, you know. But either way, I'm really excited for this one. I feel like don't be surprised if Makhachev is calling for a title shot if he wins this fight, because this was supposed to be his sort of springboard
Mm.
to getting that title fight. Um, but at the same time, like just out of respect, like if Bobby Green wins this, I don't want to hear about number one contender fights. Like, give this man a title shot. Like, I don't care because I don't think he's gonna make it to that level. Even if he gets this win, if he ends up fighting someone else in that top five, I don't think he's gonna get past that. If he wins,
Yeah.
there's gonna be some element of the sort of fluky nature that people
Mhm.
complain about.
Mhm.
But it's MMA, anything could happen, and
Mhm.
that's why I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for it. I will be watching this one. I'm definitely excited for it. It's good. It's I don't. I'm betting that Nurmagomedov will win it, but I want to see Bobby win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to see it. I like him. That's I love that guy, but I don't think he's winning that one.
There were two things I saw this week that one of them got me really hyped, and then the other one made me feel like, damn, Bobby Green's not winning this fight. But the first one is Bobby Green was talking to Aaron Hawani, and he's like, he was like, I told my last opponent, Nasrat Hakparaz, he landed a shot, and he was like that he saw his opponent's face change, like oh shit, like this, like you like that. And then he even said, like, he screamed at him right there in the cage. And he was like, and I'm going to keep hitting you. It ain't going to stop. Like, it's going to be like that all night. And that's just what I love about him, man. Like,
yeah,
he comes to fight, comes to scrap, and he's gonna get in guys' heads. Like, I could see a couple spots where he sort of forces Islam to continue to fight with him on the feet because he's just messing with him. But the other aspect, the other thing that I saw, Team Nurmagomedov, when you got Khabib in your corner, like,
yes,
and think about it like this too. This has been Khabib's right hand man since day one.
yeah.
So he's trained with Khabib every day, like, of his life. So it's just another level. And now you got this guy sort of in your corner calling the shots for you. The video that I saw though was a translation of Khabib in the corner in his last fight. I don't know if you remember when he faced Dan Hooker and got the Kimura finish.
Yes.
The UFC called the video, the caption for it was having Khabib in your corner is like a cheat code. And you hear Khabib and it's synced up. So it's not like it's separate. But you hear Khabib tell him, he's like, grab that right arm. Before he even starts attacking, he's like, isolate the right arm. And he does. And then he goes, as soon as he keeps on going, obviously he goes, now put your leg over his head. And he immediately does it. And then he secures the finish. So it's just a different level when you're, as a fighter, to be able to hear your coach and respond to what they're telling you, and get the finish. That's a dangerous combination. And ever since Khabib has turned coach, a lot of his guys have been having a lot of success. So I listen, shout out to Bobby Green. Respect for taking this, because there's guys that are turning down Islam on a full camp. Not even on short notice. So shout out to Bobby Green till the day he dies. That's gonna be my dude. But Makhachev is something else, dude.
I'm looking forward to this one. And I know I said the wrong name earlier, but I'm looking forward.
It's all good. Team Nurmagomedov. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Because technically, Nurmagomedov will be winning it.
You're right. You ain't wrong.
I'm looking forward to this fight though.
Man. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
So now we're all wrapped up on our UFC stuff, which is exciting. Thank you for bearing with me. I love it. Like, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped, dude. Like, even cards like this, it really gets me hyped. Like, I can find something to talk about, as you guys can see. But there's been a lot of news lately, and obviously a lot just went on. All-Star break just finished. We got some NBA games starting up today.
Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, I missed it. I had nothing to bet on. I know last week I was on the show. I was like, I'm gonna start posting my bets. I'm looking. I'm like, what am I bet on? Tennis? what am I bet on? So now I got something to bet on, which you'll definitely see a lot more of those posts very, very soon. I promise.
Yes, sir.
But you just got some nuggets here, man. Play those plays. You heard me. But let's talk about this All-Star game and All-Star weekend a little bit. So I know that me and you are fed up with the All-Star game, but I
I'm
still
beyond done.
watched it. I still watched it. Okay. I hate the format. This Team LeBron, Team Durant shit. I hate it. I fucking hate it. It
Yeah.
makes no sense. And I also hate that that was the matchup the before, like in the past, when they were on the opposite conferences, and then
Mm,
now it's just the default matchup. Like
yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Um, I hate the format. I hate that they have a target score. Like that doesn't make
That's why I
sense
don't
to
even
me.
care to watch it anymore.
Because it seems fake. Like it
It's
seems like
yeah.
we waiting to find out who's gonna win, basically.
Yeah, I don't care. I honestly
Yeah.
don't care. Like I'm glad to see certain guys get their all-star, honors. But I don't care about watching the game itself. It's just boring.
This year's game wasn't boring though. I will say that it gets bored. I feel like they should, no matter what, even if they're doing that like charity money thing. I think during the quarters, even if you're showing the quarter score, show the full score because when you're not showing the full score, it makes it feel like even less of a competition.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, that's not the case. Like I feel like after the third quarter, there was that all-star pickup moment, which you love to see every year, where people are actually trying.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite part about this, I don't know how this works. Is this an NBA record now? Because I don't know if it is. I don't think so. This is not. Is this considered an NBA game? I don't know. But Steph Curry hit 16 threes, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
16 for 27. That's over 50% for y'all that are mathematically
yeah.
challenged. I feel you. I'm one of them. But it was crazy to watch. This dude was on fire like he always is, but it was different. Like it wasn't just on fire. Like it wasn't like he was chucking up shots. He made a couple that were damn near half court shots
Mm-hmm.
and straight through the net too.
Yeah, yeah. I I don't know what else to say, bro. I'm just
You done with the All Star
I'm
game?
done with the All-Star game, man. I'm done with it.
That's
Like,
so sad though.
yeah, I
Growing up,
know.
this was it. Like
Yeah, I
this
know.
was the best All Star game. This was the best out of any sport. Even
We got to
more so.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got to
Go ahead,
see
sir.
a lot of matchups that we wanted to see as kids, but now it's just and it's not fun. I don't care.
Hmm.
I don't care anymore. Like, I know we're gonna talk about it in a second, but the slam dunk contest, like, I almost feel if it's not the best dunkers in the game, don't don't put them on there. Like, don't display them. That's just that doesn't make any sense. The Aaron Gordon, Zach Levine dunk matchup, like, that is the best one. That's the best head for head, like one-on-one matchup that we've seen because they just kept going, kept going, kept going. I don't know that we'll ever be able to get that type of thing again because like the best dunkers in the game aren't in the contest.
Mhm.
I don't want to see it with people I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like last year's was like, like All Star Weekend is just not fun, bro. I don't care. I take a
Wow.
break. I don't care about it anymore. I hate
That's so
saying
crazy.
that because I liked
Yeah.
it I liked it when I was younger, but I don't watch it anymore.
Mhm.
They just they did a lot to be able to strip the fun out of it. It's supposed to be
Mhm.
a fun event. They did everything in their power to not make it fun. It's
And they
just
thought they were making it funner, which is the worst part about it.
I don't get it. Like I don't know who it is that they're doing their research with. Like you should have a research department that has people from your target audience in it to test it out, right? I don't know who they tested this out on or if they even tried to test it out, but I don't care about it.
Mhm.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want to I don't even want to see it on 2K.
Mhm.
Remove it. Remove it. If you're not going to do it right, remove it. I
I
think the
like it.
best thing about it was the 3-point contest.
Mhm. That was fun. Yeah. And we'll get to that in a few. We'll get to that in a
Yeah.
few. But listen, I respect your opinion 100%. I found a way to have fun with it. I will
Yeah, yeah.
admit, I had fun with it.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't something that I was glued to the screen watching. I had it on in
Yeah.
the background, but I had fun with it. I think another big takeaway from this game too, because obviously Steph Curry went nuclear. He had 50
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
But on the other side, Joel Embiid had 38, and he was
Mm-hmm.
battling with him. There was a lot of time he hit 5 threes. And he was doing his shit,
Yeah.
dribble turnarounds,
Yeah.
fadeaway shots, driving to the hole, obviously getting big dunks. I love Joel Embiid's game, and I'm probably the dude that's the highest on him out of anybody in the world. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and the fact that I'm not a Sixers fan makes that even funnier.
Yeah.
But they're 35 and 23, third in the East. I'm really excited about Joel Embiid's future, and that made it fun for me. Getting to see them battle,
Yeah.
that was fun for me. But and Zach LaVine also actually went crazy too towards the end of this one, which was also fun to watch. He kept it real close, and then obviously LeBron hit the game-winning shot in his hometown, which is really, really cool to see. Really cool to see.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about it in a second, bro. I'll just save it because there's something I had to say about that whole LeBron Cleveland thing.
Bet.
I'll leave it. I'll wait.
Quickly, we already touched on it a little bit, but this is something that we didn't talk about at all. When I said touched on, I was talking about the All-Star Weekend. This is something we didn't talk about at all yet. The Rising Stars Challenge. So they're doing something different, something that they never done before, which I'm all for. I really like this format. Not a lot of people did. I think it was 7 players per team. And the way it worked was this was ass backwards though. Like this, if they're gonna do this format again, I liked it. It was fun for me. You gotta switch this, and I'll explain it right now. But the way it worked is there's 4 teams of 7 players, 4 of them being the 6 of them being the traditional freshmen, sophomores that are standouts in the NBA, and then 1 on each team, so 4 players in total, who are the standout players in the G League, which really cool, like really good concept. It's already a pipeline to the NBA. We already know that. And now that you're actually getting these guys familiar with the fan base before they even get here, that's even better. Like you can't complain about that at all.
Yeah.
But the format is they played, it was a tournament style. So each team, obviously you got your matchup in the first round, but this is what I hated. This is what made no sense to me. So the first games were to 50 points. So it was whoever made it to 50 points first. And each team had an actual coach from the NBA as an assistant coach, and then a Hall of Famer as the main coach to be sort of the poster child of it. So they had who did they have again? They had Gary Payton, Isaiah Thomas, and some white dude, and all NBA Hall of Famers. You know what I'm saying? You got to get them out there. He from the Warriors. I'm the worst. There's too many people. Okay.
Walter.
About that. Yeah. Walter. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that made it fun. These guys were like literally talking shit to the refs, and that gave it a serious tone, which was fun. But what I didn't get, and I guess so I can explain what I think is their reasoning, and I'm going to do that right now. But the first games, which was the semifinals, basically, was to 50. Now the finals was to 25. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense, bro. Like, I guess you're trying to get everyone to have their moment and have time on the court. I guess that's the rationale. But I think keep the format the way it is. Keep the first semifinals to be to 50 because 25 isn't even a game. Like that's not even a quarter.
It's not.
And then for the finals, make it a 15-minute period. Don't even have like, you know what I'm saying, with timeouts. Don't even have like
just make it a game.
Target. Exactly. Just make it a game and let it play out, because a 25-point game, it got competitive at the end. Don't get me wrong, because they were at game point for a while and going back and forth trying to score that last bucket, and the defense was there. That made it fun. That's why I really liked it. Like they were trying. This wasn't an all-star game like the traditional all-star game. But just that's a no-brainer, dude. Like, how do you make the finals less risk than the semifinals? Like, that makes no sense.
I don't know. I don't know
But
who's running things, bro. Like,
get it together. Whoever y'all
yeah,
are, get it together. Because I like
yeah,
the format. Like, that's the
yeah,
shit. Even if y'all did the semifinals a certain amount of minutes and then the finals a certain amount of minutes, I would be
mm,
much more fine with that than this target point shit. You don't, when you play ball, I mean, besides 21, when you play ball, you don't play to a point. You play to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like you
yeah,
play for your time. Like it doesn't make sense.
yeah,
It doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's my bit. I actually enjoyed the Rising Stars challenge, even though all this dumb shit is a rye. Fix it and continue to fix it because everyone is asking for it. I don't
yeah.
see anyone in favor of the current situation, and they keep doubling down every year. I don't get
Yeah.
it.
It's the league just I don't think there's much investment to have to actually care.
Mhm.
So like really what are you going to do? Um but I think it would make sense. It would almost make sense if you did if it's the rising challenge, if you did um if you got the sophomores from the league, right?
Mhm.
Versus the G League, just do a full team of G League versus the sophomores. Like, I would like to see that, you know.
That's interesting.
So I mean, that's Rising Stars. Let's see that. Let's see how that is because you're
I
gonna have
think they'll
to.
get cooked personally.
Oh, most likely, but if you have someone in the G League, like say for example Isaiah Thomas was in there,
Mhm. Yeah, you're
he ain't
right.
getting
You're
cooked.
right.
He ain't getting cooked by anyone.
Defensively, he
So
will, but he gonna get it
defensively,
back. He gonna get it back. I feel
defensively
you.
he will, but he's gonna come back and get you. Yeah. So um it would be interesting. I mean, you have some guys that are in the G League right now that were in the NBA already, just couldn't get onto a roster. So do that. I mean, that's another way to show who you have in there in the G League. Why not? Why
Yeah.
not? So
Hey, even when he's pissed, he finds a solution.
yeah.
This is why this is my co-host, man. What the hell? Even when I'm down on myself, you find a way around it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Got to.
I got a quick hitters here because we don't want to
Yeah.
talk about this much more because we agree that both of these events, in a way, is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Even the 3-point contest was bullshit this year. Like they
Yes.
should have had better players in the 3-point contest. But for the first time in NBA history,
Yeah.
a center, a center,
I love it for him too, man.
Carl
Love it.
Anthony Towns, man, he won and in a big way. It was really fun to see his last rack and the way
Yeah.
he responded after.
Yeah.
Um, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
like it. I like watching the 3-point contest. I think naturally that is more fun to watch
Hmm.
than the dunk contest has been the last couple years,
Yeah.
which is crazy to say.
Do you like that
But
sprite location thing?
honestly, when I first saw it, I was annoyed.
Yeah.
Um, but the more I thought about it, and when I saw it in action,
Hmm.
what I really like about it is it's giving these guys more chances, obviously, to get points, but also it makes it faster, which
Hmm.
it was already considered fast.
Hmm.
But the league is really headed in that way in general. I feel like a lot of guys have releases that are way faster than they have traditionally been.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it fun. Like they're hitting these racks way faster, and they're still able. Like there wasn't many times, if any, where people ran out of time. So why
Yeah.
not? Like
Yeah.
if you have the time and you can make it work, and it makes it fun. Like it's an additional set of circumstances to set you
Hmm.
up to win, and for the most part, it doesn't really change much. But what I don't like is like now there's no historical comparison angle. Like you can't
That's what
say.
I was. That's where I was about to ask you because I don't see how this like. It feels like it almost like cheapens it a little bit, where you
Hmm,
can't do the historical matchup type of thing. I don't know. I don't know even know if that makes sense, but like it feels wrong
mhm.
in some way, shape, or form. It just feels wrong to do it like that. But
Exactly, because Cat his last rack was 28 points, but
yeah,
the problem with that is that was a high number when those things didn't exist.
yeah,
So
yeah,
was it really that impressive? You be
yeah.
the judge. I don't get me wrong. I thought it was fun, and I thought
Hmm.
when he made those shots, I thought it didn't feel like. And I think he only made one of them, one of those
Hmm.
sprite balls, anyway.
Hmm.
But he did his thing. Like he did his
Hmm.
thing. can't bitch too much. But at the end of the day, I agree. I think putting any event like that in a place where now you can't even compare it to the past because it's just a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. Like the tradition's there for a reason. Keep it that way. That's the way I kind of look at things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
So my thing is, what can they do to fix the dunk contest?
You get actual dunkers.
But these guys are dunkers. Like you can't tell
Those are
me,
they're in-game dunkers. Like you get
bro.
actual
Jalen Green could
dunkers.
jump out the gym. Like let's be
Yeah.
real.
No, he
Obi
can.
Toppin got hops. Like
Yeah, they have, but obviously they can't dunk like in a contest.
mm,
That's different. Like the pressure that you have as for dunk contests are different than when you're playing a game,
mhm.
which is why I don't think we'll ever see. I think that's why we never saw LeBron do one, right? Like, because
We have. That's a lie. Not in the NBA.
not in the NBA. Okay, we're not going to. We were never going to see him do something like this, though. We were
Yeah.
never going to see this. There's a different level. There's a different pressure that's attached to it, which is why I think that this dunk contest. I mean, on paper, if it wasn't going to compare like to be one of the greats, but it should have been better than what it was.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah, there
don't
was.
know if it's because these guys weren't prepared or it's just the pressure that got to them, but that's weird.
And my thing is, God
Oh,
forgive me, I
Anthony,
actually
bro.
watched this live. Like,
I
there's
don't know
something
why you
wrong
did
with
that
me,
to
right?
yourself,
There's something wrong.
man.
But when I was watching it, what really struck me wasn't even like we should have had better people here.
Mm.
I can't remember a time growing up where these guys missed this many fucking dunks. Like
Yeah.
that was my issue with it. Everyone, not even the guy who won, Obi
Yes.
Toppin.
Yes.
Everyone was fucking up their dunks.
Which is
So
why
it
I'm
was
saying like the pressure of it is just different.
Mhm.
I don't know like
When
and Cole
pressure meets
Anthony, bro.
creativity, that's the problem.
Yeah, Cole Anthony with the Tims. Like
You're not even from.
you're not from New York. Don't do like
You don't play in New York either. Like
yeah. Like it's just it didn't even make sense. None of it made sense. And then his dance before, like I was just so thrown off with all of it, man. I don't
I
like.
like Cole Anthony.
I
He was
love
balling in the Rising Stars Challenge.
I love the guy. Love the guy. And I think that if you actually think about it, the Tims, because they're so heavy, that's impressive.
You would know. You used to play in Tim's all the time.
Yeah, and I will never do that again. but I can appreciate doing a dunk in Tim's because I played in Tim's, but like it's just not that ain't it, man. It's like when you see dunks like what like I said, Gordon Levine did, or like Dwight Howard,
Mhm.
um, Gerald Green, that the when he blew out the candle on the cupcake, like on top, like this, the different things that we used to see, we're not seeing those elements anymore.
Mhm.
Some the thing that made the dunk contest special was like these complexities that they were added to it.
Mhm. Dwight
Not
bringing out the second rim. Like, come on.
that was amazing.
And it's not even the dunk, it's the anticipation. Like he's
Anticipation.
setting it up, and
Yes.
everyone's like, yo, like there's no way
Yeah.
he could do that.
Yeah.
And then he does it.
It's just different. It's different. So I don't think that we're how
How
about
can we
this?
fix it? We can't
How you
see
want to
him
fix it?
bitch and not come with solutions.
Maybe you have to open it up to dunkers that are not NBA players.
No, hell no. You got to be in the NBA.
I'm gonna say it like this: there are some guys that I've seen on tape that have done dunks. For example, the guys in 2K that do the 2K motion, motion tracker. They like
Professional dunkers. Yeah.
professional dunkers. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Some like if we're not going to get the guys from the NBA to actually give us dunks, if you're going to keep the contest around, you've got to go outside the league. Because if these guys in 2K are dunking better than you, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Facts.
That's a
Listen,
problem.
Nat, I'm looking at you right. I'm calling you out right now. Juan Toscano Anderson
Bro.
in the dunk contest. What? What? Here's my proposal. Fuck everything else. Don't even announce who's gonna be in the dunk contest. You know what you do?
Ooh.
You leave it open. You don't announce, but you know what you do announce? The winner of the dunk contest gets $5 million.
Bro, John
Who
Morant
the
said
fuck says no? That's my question.
John Morant himself said that it would cost him, it would be about $1 million for him to go do the contest.
Dude, don't announce it. Just announce the prize pool. And I promise you, there'll be 16 plus people trying to sign up to do that. Like, you won't have a problem trying to find people to do it.
You know who's one guy that should be in the dunk contest that I don't think is going to get a look?
Who?
Javonte Green from the Chicago Bulls.
That's a deep cut right there, brother.
I've been saying him for the last 4 years. Because of course he played in Boston, right? So like we would see different videos of him dunking, and I wanted Jaylen Brown to be in the dunk contest, like his second year in the league. I'm like, oh, this dude's got hops, but I don't think he's not going to do it. He's going to do it, but Javonte Green would be a phenomenal candidate to be in the contest next year, because I'm gonna tell you what, they have no other choice but to actually like figure this out. Because if you're not, after what we saw this year, if you don't actually do something to make the contest fun again, and like everybody's just like on the edge of their seats, where guys are not taking 2 or 3 attempts to make a dunk, like that's what made the Levine and Gordon contest special as well. They did it on the first try. Dude. When you do it on the first try and it's complex and that just makes it so much better. I hated that Blake Griffin dunk over the Kia. You know why? Because all he did was jump over the hood. And that was a better dunk than what we saw in this contest.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Way better. There's normal dunks that were better dunks than we saw in this contest. But let me make it clear. This is how you fix it. If you're not going to put a big prize pool in, I get it. Why the fuck are you doing an all-star game with one round with only 4 people? Why not start with 16 people?
Bro,
and you only get one try. If you miss your dunk, you're out. There's no talking.
Yes.
And that way, this actually feels like a tournament. This actually feels like
yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many things they can do to fix this. And the only way you get a certain amount of people do like that is either a prize pool or something.
Yes.
Something that you get, something that is for them personally. Or if they do something cool, like even if they only put up $1 million. But the caveat is 500,000 goes to whoever wins. 500,000 goes to a charity of their choice.
Yes.
Who says no? Everyone is signing up.
It's free money.
And that the NBA loves angles like that. They love propping up these little side shows.
Yeah.
So do that. Put a prize pool, and I'm telling you, you'll get the people to come. If you put a $500,000 prize pool, you will get 16 people to sign up. So you'll have 16 people that you want to watch. Like, let's make that clear.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine if half the All-Star team is in the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't show up to watch that? Like,
I'm if they don't fix it, I don't see how they do anything well next year. Truth be told.
Just throw the whole All-Star weekend away if they don't fix the dunk contest. Because the dunk contest used to be the buoy.
That's what draws everybody in. That's what everybody really wants to see, the dunk contest. I don't care about the 3-point contest. I care about it like historically. I'm saying in terms of like
that lineup.
If you're ranking it, the dunk contest is number 1. 3-point number 2. All-Star game is, to me, like below even the Rising Stars, to be completely honest. I don't care about it. I really don't. I like the right matchups, the right candidates you have there. that dunk contest and 3-point contest, those are only two reasons I'm even going to tune in to watch anything All-Star game, All-Star weekend. Don't care about the celebrity game. I don't care about the All-Star game. I don't care about the skills challenge. Don't care. Don't care. I mean, I care about the skills challenge when it was when Tatum was going against Trae Young. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. That one was actually really good. I didn't expect that matchup. That was a really good matchup. But to be completely honest, I don't watch All-Star Weekend for the skills challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Does? Yeah.
That's yeah. But if you do something where you have these guys in there and they're actually competing, at the end of the day, we want to see competition. Flat out. I don't want to see guys with the 2 or 3 attempts anymore. I don't want to see that. 2, okay, I get it. 2, but that's it. If you miss it the first time and you want to give them another shot, cool. But you after 2 tries, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see this. It takes the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got up and walked out during this dunk contest, bro. He left.
And I don't blame
him. He left. You made a legend leave. How does that make you feel? You know what I'm saying? Like this I'm
D-Wade had me dying. He's like, this dunk contest was a 6. This had me dead. I'm like, yo, facts.
It's just
there was
trash,
some good moments.
Man.
There was some good moments, but
yeah, but you don't watch it just for just.
And the only reason there's good moments is because you could watch it as a highlight reel after. You don't see.
And I don't want to see. I don't want to see it as a highlight reel. I want to see it in real time.
Because that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah. Can you do it as we grew up on a dunk contest being where these guys were going on the first attempt.
Yep. And that's why it was the best event for so long. But let me make something clear, because you mentioned the Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine crazy 2 times, I think it was, right?
Yes,
they went up head to head.
Yes.
Even then, we were talking about how this dunk contest needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
In the moment, we didn't know that we were in for that. And then when we got it, we were hyped for it. Even then, we were talking about how this was broken.
During that matchup, it was like, oh my God. But that's because that was the matchup. Like exactly. the format, I think we're always going to complain about the format. I think we're always going to complain about it until they fix it.
Yeah.
But the actual matchup made you sit there and just like, Jesus. Like,
bro, do it like the Royal Rumble. Nobody knows who's in it. They say the first person in the dunk contest is coming up. They fucking walk out. Tell me how fire that would be. Tell me how fire that would be.
I would love that. I would love that. I would love it. But you know the reason why it's not going to happen? Marketing purposes. You're going to market the hell out of this All-Star weekend, and they do it every single year. Where
what you could do is you're going to get a prize pool. So I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I'm coming with solutions.
Yes,
I want to be that dude.
Yes.
The way you market it, you get, obviously you need the prize pool to get these guys to sign up. You say, because it needs to be more than 4. At this stage, you need to have more than 4. I don't care what the number is. It needs to be more than 4.
Yeah.
You market it as, let's, for the sake of my analogy, let's keep with the 16 guys. You say in the marketing, it's clear. No, you're not going to know who's in it, but there's 7 all-stars. If they told you there was 7 all-stars, out of the 16 people playing, everyone's showing up to see it.
How about this? The best dunker from every team. If you put like this, if you have like the playoff brackets, right? You have 8 teams each the right? If at the beginning of the season we had brackets set up for who's ever the best dunker and on the team, and then by the time you get to like this like January or whatever, like that matchups, the seedings for dunkers are set, right? And then you just pick from the top 16 or whatever, or if you want to do one, seeding, however you want to do it. If it's going to be, if the playoff brackets are 1 through 16 seedings, then do the 1 through 16 for the dunk bracket. If it's 8 from this conference, 8 from that conference, do the brackets that way. Cool. Let's set it up that way. And then by the time we get to the All-Star game, you've got 1 through 8 in the East, 1 through 8 in the West. Best dunker on those two, on those 16 teams. Go at it.
I like it. I like it. It's way better than what they're doing now.
I mean, if something's got to be set up, bro. There's no intrigue. Yep. There's no intrigue. I don't care about it. I could not care any less about it. At this point, if you're not going to change it, if you're not going to do something about it, if you're not going to get the right guys on there, because like Chicago alone has a dunk contest with all the players they have.
For real.
So why the hell are we suffering in the dunk contest? Why? Why are we starved of actual dunks?
And bro, you can't tell me that 500,000 is a lot to the NBA. You can't tell me that. No, but it's a lot to the players. It's a lot to the players. And yo, spice it up even more. We already paid the taxes on it. Say that.
Yeah.
That's tax included. Before taxes is 500,000.
Yes.
Bro, who says? I swear, if that was implemented, there's not going to be enough spaces for the people that are trying to get in the dunk contest. And that's not a significant amount of money.
It's not, but it would do. And then even you look talking about guys that are like on the rookie contracts too.
Hell yeah.
If they won that,
signing up to do that. Yeah, man.
Bro, come on, man.
And that'll add to it too. Like, this dude's fighting for the check, especially if it's someone that's like not known, that's like on the back of the bench, like Juan Toscano.
And that's what I'm saying.
That makes that story even better.
I don't need to know the person like that as
long as they're a dunker.
If you're a dunker, because we know these guys are in practice dunking almost every day. Like, that's not a thing. Put a highlight reel together. Like, battle it out. Have fan voting. If you want to do fan voting so much, do fan voting for the dunk contest. Or your judges, whoever your judges are. And to be completely honest, something needs to happen with these judges too. There has to I
get what they're trying to do, but it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working. I want the champions from past dunk contests to be the judges. Give me that. Give me that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love seeing those legends up there, but no. Give me the dunkers.
NBA need to call us, bro. Because I'm telling you, we got this shit figured out.
We got all this stuff figured out, man. People need to start paying us for this mess.
For real, bro. Because if this shit comes to fruition, I'm going to the courts.
Yeah, I'm suing. I'm suing for intellectual property.
Meanwhile, we giving it up. Yeah,
hey, man. Don't fight our case against us, bro. Like,
you're right. My fault. I'm the one pursuing law school here, and I'm fucking up. You're right. It's just so crazy because it's not hard. Like, it's really not hard to think of solutions to these things.
It's not.
And people have been asking for solutions for over what it feels like 8 years now.
Yeah.
And they still have not delivered.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. My what the fuck was gonna be something else. NBA. What the fuck? This is for y'all.
Yeah.
All right. Can we move on?
Yes,
good
sir.
Here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
Sir.
So, little NBA. I want to go into a little NBA preview before we went into the little news topics we got to talk about here. So now, I'm gonna ask you questions here. I'm gonna ask you questions that I'm gonna be frank. I don't expect you to know the answer to.
Okay.
Like, I don't expect you to know the answer to.
Okay.
But if you do, it says something about, first of all, you being a well-read individual, and secondly, about, if you don't know, it shows how surprising these things were. So are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So do you know what team currently has a record of 41-19?
I'm assuming that's the Suns.
I love that that was your answer. No, the Suns record is 48-10.
Okay.
This team is
a Western team, right?
I'm not going to tell you that, but I will tell you this team is in the top. I'm trying to give you another hint that's not going to tell you a hint of where the team is.
Okay.
So give me a second.
Okay.
This team, they're in the third. They're in the Western Conference. There's no way I could put this,
Grizzlies.
but they're in the third. Yes, the Grizzlies. They're the third seed of the West, and they're sitting at 41-19. Now, let me ask you another question. You know, because you probably know this. The Heat and the Bulls are tied for the first place spot in the East.
Mm-hmm.
How many wins does the Grizzlies have more than those two teams? Take a stab at it.
More at 41. I want to say about like 3 or 4.
You're right on the money. 3 games. The first team in the Eastern Conference has 38. They both have 38 wins. The Grizzlies have 41, and they're 1 game behind the Warriors. Obviously, Warriors have played one fewer game, if I got my math correctly on this. But either way, they're 1 game behind from the second seed. This was something that, although we expected the Grizzlies to be great, to be good, to be better than they were, I didn't expect them to be this good.
No.
And what I think a lot of people don't talk about, and I'll be the guy to say it because I'm an OKC guy.
Yeah.
Steven Adams is a difference maker for this team.
Yes.
And most importantly, Ja Morant is the future of the NBA. I've said this before on this show, and I'll say it again. If you don't watch this guy play, please. Tonight is Grizzlies versus Timberwolves. That's a great matchup. If you don't know who Anthony Edwards is, you sleep. He's one of the best players in the NBA too.
For sure.
Watch that matchup because I'm telling you, every time I watch the Grizzlies, I'm so surprised at how good this team is because it's not just offensively, defensively, they're a juggernaut, which you love to see out of a playoff team.
Yeah.
So super excited that they're in that third place spot now. Are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
What is this? This is a tricky one. What is the difference in margin of wins from the first place team in the East to the 8th place team in the East? What do you think the difference is?
It's not much. Because I think, isn't Brooklyn 8?
Yes, they are.
I want to say they're sitting around like 30 or 31.
Yep.
So I'm going to say 7.
This dude's on another level. You got it exactly right. I'm proud of you. I don't know how you knew that. Maybe it's because you looked at the Celtics game earlier today.
No,
Maybe that's what it was.
We're playing right now. I just saw literally that they're leading the Nets, but I just knew that they were below us. I love
good shit. That's a surprise to me. In any conference to be that close from 1 to 8, that's really good.
The Eastern Conference is stacked.
Now you ready?
Yeah.
What's the difference in the West? And who is the 8th place team? Because you got it on the head. You might as well be able to. You might as well be able to.
The 8th place team in the West. I want to say it's Portland.
Good guess. That's not it though. I'll give you one more stab at it before we go on to the win margin.
Dallas.
That's another good guess. So right now, Trailblazers are at 10. Mavericks are at 5.
Okay.
Give me the win margin, and then I'll tell you who's at 8 and what their record is.
The win margin between the 1st and 8th.
Yep.
If Phoenix is at 48, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say the 8th seed in the West is probably sitting around 25. 25 to 30.
Okay. So let me get your final number.
I'll split it down. I'll say 27.
Okay, so you were entirely off on that. But it's because that's the 9th place record. So you're not
Jesus. Oh,
exactly.
Okay. All right.
So
all right.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The 8th seed right now in the West is none other than your Los Angeles Clippers. And their record right now is 30-31. So the win margin, as you were over when you went with the over here, is 18 games. That I found that
That's wild.
so crazy when I saw it,
That's
and that's
wild.
really a testament more so to what Phoenix is doing than anything.
Yeah,
But to
yeah.
see a team sub 500 in the eighth seed in the West is so strange.
And to be completely honest, the Clippers, I don't think they play like their record either.
They're a good team, man.
They're a
They're a
good
good
team,
team. I love Reggie
and
Jackson, dude. I'm
he's
gonna
really
do it again.
he's
I'm gonna do
killing
it
it.
again. Yeah, he needs to because Paul
Killing
George
it.
and Kawhi are out.
Yeah,
And Luke
yeah,
Kennard's doing his thing too. Don't
he
sleep on the
is.
white boy over
Yeah.
there. You
Oh,
know what I'm
he's doing this
saying? He
thing.
was in the
He's doing this thing.
3-point
Yeah,
contest, you know?
yeah, yeah.
I like his game, even though
Yeah.
he's not just a JJ Redick guy. He's not. He drives and he does a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, I agree. This team is sneaky good, even though they're sub 500 right now. Um, that 10th place team, I find it so funny that the Lakers are sitting at 9 right now with 27 wins. Just please, piss
They
and go.
deserve it.
The purple and piss. Keep them where they belong. Okay, don't keep them in the play-in. And if they ain't making it out the play-in,
They're not.
keep them
No,
there.
they're
Keep
not.
them there.
Can I
So
say
now,
this one thing though about them?
yes, sir.
People actually thought I was being hateful when I said that they benefited greatly from the bubble. They actually needed that bubble in order to win that championship. Because
And I was one of those people. I talk shit. I was one of those people.
See, and that's what's like, because it was one of those things where, like, if they didn't have that break, you didn't have guys resting up and getting healed by the time that they won. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, kudos to them, like that they got a championship, but they weren't the best team in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
They were just the freshest team. that's pretty much it.
I know the Nuggets are kicking themselves right now because I feel like that was
their time. That was their time. That was it. The like Jamal Murray, man. Oh my God,
he's fell off since then.
Well, he's been injured. So I'm not.
Even when he's been playing, the difference is noticeable. I will say that.
Yeah. So I mean, the Lakers right now are in a place where they set themselves up to be. Like, this is
100%.
They got the championship, but I don't know what the cost was for them. Like, was it? Let me say it like this: was the cost worth it? Because now you set yourself up to be in this position for a long time. LeBron,
when the Kyle Kuzma of your team is Austin Reeves, bro. Tell me, bro.
You had Alex Caruso. You had the ability to keep him. You had Schroeder. You had the ability to keep him.
Yeah, man.
And you listened to LeBron and went and got Westbrook,
who now he doesn't want him on his team.
Who now doesn't want him. It's like I don't get.
I hate that shit. That's their fault for even entertaining.
It is their fault. It is their fault for doing that. But the idea that LeBron and his camp or the Clutch Sports, whatever, like the idea that they're actually pissed at the Lakers for doing what they wanted the Lakers to do. I don't
doing what's best for them in the long term because they know LeBron's not staying with them. You hear it's downright tampering, the shit he's been saying in these interviews. Like,
come get
whoever back to Cleveland. Hey, go wherever Bronny goes, I'm gonna be there.
That's the thing that actually I look, LeBron wins wherever he goes. Okay, it's clear. Whatever team he goes to, he has won a championship. So cool. Like, I'm not mad at that. But the idea that you're able to look at the front office, you can blame them a little bit because they shouldn't have listened to you. But to demand something and put so much pressure on a front office, to do certain moves that you want done, and then get mad at them when they do it is just off to me. I don't get. That's the part I don't understand. I know someone was saying, I was reading an article, I think earlier today, that said that someone that was a source on the inside, I think, said that LeBron actually wields more power with the Lakers than even Kobe Bryant did.
Hmm.
And it's weird hearing that because, I mean, it makes sense because we're seeing it.
It shouldn't have been that way, though.
It shouldn't have been that way, though. It
For
shouldn't have been that way.
everything that Kobe did for that franchise.
Yeah. So it's just I don't get it. I don't get it. And like, again, much respect to LeBron. I think what he's done for the league and all that stuff is phenomenal. For players' choice and all that stuff in terms of like being able to decide what you want to do with your career and all that stuff. I think that's he actually.
I credit 2K for that, but continue. Tell me to say some 2K shit.
It is.
Tell me to say.
This is a 2K storyline. I swear to God, it does feel like that. But like, what his influence has stretched beyond even just basketball. It's gone into football and stuff like that, right? But when he goes to a team, that's exactly why I said about 5 to 7 years ago, if LeBron ever became a free agent again, I don't want him to come into Boston. I don't want that. Not just because
he
of the
leaves
rivalry.
a path of destruction in his wake.
It's a black hole. And it's amazing to see where Cleveland is right now, and even where Miami is right now.
So true.
It is like, thinking back, because
it's a real credit to the organizations.
They were able to turn that around. But the Lakers, I don't see being able to do that in as fast time as even the Cavaliers did. The Cavaliers, they basically, like, LeBron left, they traded Kyrie, you kept Kevin Love. It looked as if this team was just going to be stuck in the mud for 8 years or so. And
they're sitting at 4th in the East.
I mean, they are a phenomenal team.
Ahead of the Bucks. Yep.
Yes. Think just to think, LeBron likely will go back. Like, I expect him to retire in Cleveland, bro. I don't expect him. I expect that. That's where, like, Cleveland is.
I think he's gonna be a 5-team guy before he retires.
Oh, I think that's true too. I think that's true too. But I'm saying I think he will when he retires, he's going to retire as a Cavalier. So I don't know, because I don't, whatever team he goes to, whatever team drafts Bronny, I'll put it like that. Whatever team that is not winning a championship. That's gonna be the first team LeBron goes to and doesn't win a championship. Because you almost have to be set up, unless you're talking about one of these major contenders that have made a trade for like one of the top 3-5 picks. Because if you draft Bronny, you're getting LeBron. So I think that's almost going to raise his draft stock as well, which is weird to think about. Like, you're not getting drafted based off of your actual skill set. You're getting drafted on like who you're about to attract here. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them. I said that before. Like, I don't see LeBron winning the championship. But
so my question is, based on talent, real quick. I think it's already established that he kind of isn't in that first round pick zone, right? Like, respectfully.
Yeah. Zaire is a much better player
prospect. Yep.
Yeah.
So would you say, hypotheticals here, would you say that he gets drafted in the first round anyway because of that?
I think that's what I'm saying. I think it lifts his prospect up, because depending on who is in his class, it's likely he gets into the top 5.
No way.
I swear,
you think so?
Only because of LeBron, not because of his skill set.
But that's impossible. Like, that's so high, dude.
Is it?
Holy shit.
Is it? Because think about it. Wherever, like, LeBron already said, I want to play with Bronny before I retire. Like, we saw that already set up about 2 years ago. Like, that's what he was going to try and do, right? He's been setting up his contracts to be where he can have control, like,
almost semi-annually.
Yeah. So he's been planning for this for so long. It's not beyond the pale of, like, comprehension that he could actually go play with Bronny when he gets drafted. And I think that's what's going to, like, say, for example, let's say, like, the Kings had one of the top 5 picks. You see that's the move they're going to make, right? He's already told you that like LeBron has already said, money is not going to be a determining factor at that point. I just want to play with my son. Technically speaking, LeBron could play for any team at this point. Technically speaking, it could be the Hawks. It could be Orlando.
That's so crazy.
Like,
listen, my thing here with this is, if he goes anywhere above the top 20, that's gonna be one of the most historic busts in NBA history. And that's top 20. And you talk about top 5, bro. I don't know. This is giving me anxiety.
Think about any of the teams. When does Bronny come out? In 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
Well, we're in 2022, so next year.
I don't think so.
Is it 24 or 25?
I think it's 2025.
Okay.
Ronnie James draft year. Let me Google that. Continue. Sorry.
But whenever it is, you're talking about a draft class that is going to.
Oh, it is 2024.
It's 2024. Okay. So you're talking about a draft class that in 2 years is going to be headlined by Bronny, whether he is the best player or not.
He's nowhere near. That's the problem.
It's just, but think about this too. Like, Lonzo Ball was the headline of his draft class. Tatum was drafted after Lonzo Ball.
That's very true. That's very true.
It doesn't matter who the better player is. It's just who's the attraction. Who's the main attraction? It's going to be LeBron. It's going to be Bronny. But again, Zaire Wade is significantly better. I would draft Wade over Bronny, but you're talking about like whatever team.
The other factors.
The other factors. It doesn't. We're not drafting Bronny off skill set, bro. We're drafting Bronny to get LeBron.
Bro, this is giving me diarrhea, bro. Like this is some 2K shit, like even more so than ever. Like
LeBron.
I believe you though. That's the shit. You convinced me. Like I was in my head like there's no way. And now I really believe it. Like it's gonna be a travesty, bro.
This has nothing to be a travesty. It should be tampering what LeBron said. That should be considered tampering. I don't think they're gonna get him for it though.
Because if you think about it, he's directly taking someone else's spot. Like he's directly taking someone else's spot. How many second round picks make it to the team, actually play? And this is still in the COVID era. How many second round picks make it to play with the team? He is taking someone's spot if he does that.
I cannot wait to see how this is going to look in 10 years because Ronnie will not be, from what I've seen. I can't say that he won't get better.
Yeah.
He's still growing and all that stuff, right? But he's not going to be the player LeBron is. And that's the level of expectation that he's going to be held up to. For some reason, that's what happens. We don't look at these people as their own person. We look at them as who their parent is. And that's why Michael Jordan's sons were like, I mean, they were trash in basketball, but they were
even worse. Yeah.
They were viewed as guys that were like, when they were younger, like, hey, like the what if. It's always about the what if. It's never about the actual skill set. So I think Zaire Wade is honestly one of, like, he's probably, he might have a similar career to Dwayne. He might, in terms of how he plays, he might be able to play the exact same way or have that same type of impact with as Dwayne had.
And that's saying a lot because that's a top 50 NBA player right there.
Yes, but I guarantee he's not going to be drafted over Bronny.
Dude, we need to clip this.
We need this clip. We need this clip.
Yeah.
I will place a bet on that. I don't think Zaire is going to
find me the bookie. One of you crazy motherfuckers out there, we'll take it.
Yeah. I because it's who you're gonna get, and I almost feel like this is going to hinder Bronny's growth, because think about it. Your freshman year, no other player in the history of the NBA has ever had to deal with what Bronny's going to deal with. Playing on a team where your father is playing, and your father is
considered the best player that ever played the game.
Like no one else has ever had to deal with that.
How dare you get me excited about some
I'm
shit
sorry.
for you 2 years from now? How dare you? How dare you? I just want to say, bro, I'm gonna say this on air because I was thinking this whole time, this whole show, how I can't wait to talk to you about this off air, but I'm gonna say it on air.
Yeah.
This is why I love doing this show every week. Because this was a week where we thought that we didn't have shit to talk about. And dude, like this has been one of, if not one of my favorite shows, like in recent memory.
Yeah.
Just because the range of shit that we've covered is insane.
It's a lot.
But I'm with you. Like this is crazy. You convinced me, and I hate it. I hate it here.
I know,
but you
bro,
convinced me.
I don't want to see it. I just just knowing how like LeBron, bro. LeBron makes everything about him. The Rams won a Super Bowl, and he said we should do a 3-team parade. Rams, Dodgers, and Lakers. Your championship was how long ago? Another team already got the championship already. Like you're not the top team, right? You're not even in the playoffs right now. So like, but you want a parade.
That's hilarious, dude.
The All-Star game was in Cleveland. They asked him about having Cavaliers on the team, and he somehow turned it into, it's a home team. You're playing in Cleveland. Is the home turf for the Cavaliers, and they got Jared Allen playing, they got Darius Garland playing, and they got me playing. You're a Laker. Like, what the hell are we talking about here, man? What makes you think he's not going to turn Bronny's draft into him? Is it something about him? What makes you think that's not going to happen? I hate saying this because I like LeBron.
I've always hated LeBron.
As a player, whenever the Celtics had to play, I hated him for sure. Like same thing with Kobe. But I can appreciate the game. I can appreciate their impact on the league, right? I love LeBron. I love Kobe. I love those guys, right? But this is why I don't like LeBron. In the same breath, this is exactly why. Like it irritates me to watch things like this because he's going to make it about him somehow, some way. Somehow, some way, it's going to be about him.
I don't even got nothing else to say. You're right.
You're right. It just is what it is.
It is what it is. And the saddest part about it too is not only is he going to do whatever he can to make it about him, but for the rest of his life, he's going to be front and center.
Yeah.
He's going to be at every event.
Yes.
He's not going to, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Like he really is the face of NBA. Like if you ask someone about the NBA that doesn't watch, they'll be able to tell you who LeBron James is 100% over people like Kobe, people like Jordan, even over Jordan, people know who LeBron is in a way that is sort of inescapable. Exactly. Technology. That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
But either way, my thing about this whole thing, which is crazy, is he's already the points leader, or am I mistaken on that?
See, and that's another thing that irritates me. They combine the regular season and playoffs with it.
Did they do that for the people before him?
I don't remember, but they specifically said in regular season and playoffs. So like it's not just like just say career. If you're gonna say just say the career thing, okay, that you have to combine it, sure, whatever. But I was thinking more so along the lines of that this was something that was just like regular season, right?
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know if you do count the points in the playoffs. I'm not saying that you don't, but yeah. I don't.
That's
I
very
don't know.
true. I didn't know that. I didn't know that difference existed. And yeah, technically, right now, he's still third on the all-time.
So
list.
Why say that?
Yeah, they got me. I'm out here spewing propaganda on this show.
It's fluff.
Thank you for correcting me on that.
Like it's not career. It's fluff. So like,
it's still very impressive.
It's impressive. It is.
And if
impressive.
he plays the way he's saying he's going to play, it's almost formality that he's going to get it.
Yeah. And if he gets
which is historical. Like, cool. Like, I don't separate that. He's a historical
He is a
player.
historical
I
player.
don't separate that, but I hate him.
He is.
I've always hated him since day one. I hated him, and and it's because he's so good, which is why so many people hated Jordan too.
Yeah,
And it's because of
Kobe.
this shit. Because this has been
Yeah.
his thing since day one, and we all knew this since the Miami era. This has been his thing, and like you said, I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Well, the decision was he had to make it a spectacle. He had to make it a spectacle. Like he didn't have to go and do it.
Let's be real. Let's be real. Your team was one of the teams that was sneaky in the running, if I remember correctly, right?
We did what now?
Was your Boston Celtics in the running for that decision? Do I remember that correctly?
For LeBron to come to Boston?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying
in good faith they did something.
I'm not saying that they didn't have an interview or anything like that, but I don't think
it was ever a possibility.
Nah,
because either way,
that's back in the day when Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were still there.
Mm-hmm. True.
Like we hated LeBron.
I don't mean that they wouldn't have tried to sign him, but I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Like Garnett got on Ray Allen for going to Miami and playing with the team that we just lost against.
That shit. Yeah, right.
I hated it too. But like I'm saying, like it's competition at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can't beat this guy, why go try to join him to win? You want to find a way to beat this guy. And I don't think that they would have signed off. Even if the Celtics did sit down and have a meeting with LeBron, I don't think that they would have signed LeBron. Because
they had the chance, I think they would have. But I get where you're coming from.
You try, yeah, you do whatever it takes to win, right? But I don't think that Garnett or Pierce would have signed off on it. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that they would have signed off on it. And those are the stars. Sense. Those are the stars. You know, that's like you know, asking Kobe, you know, if they could sign someone and nah, I don't want that. And then he still go sign him anyway. Like that would create a divide with him and the franchise, right? So like I think it would have done the same thing with them. And I know people probably listening or watching are like Kobe, Paul Pierce, like that's not the same. I'm not hearing that. I know they're not the same type of player. I'm not comparing them in that. I'm saying in terms of like stardom and I think don't let me get started.
Stardom, being a franchise player.
Franchise player, yeah. But I'm not gonna get started on this rant. But y'all really disrespect Paul Pierce on a sacred level, and I hate that. Like y'all gotta stop with that. Like that's horrible.
And the shit that gets me tight too is like they double down on the things that happen to him with those strippers and shit like that, bro. You wish that was you, bro. I promise. You wish that was you, bro. My man's just living. Anyway.
He was divorced. Like, so why if nobody else was mad about it, why are y'all mad about it? But that's beside the point. LeBron is going to be LeBron, and LeBron will be LeBron until the day he dies. I guarantee you, even if Bronny makes it to the finals with whatever team at some point in his career, LeBron is going to find a way to be front row and figure out some way to put some, like, not all attention. I'm not saying he's going to want all the attention, but he's going to get some camera time. He's going to get some camera time at some point. Even if he's like the Paul Heyman to Bronny's Brock Lesnar.
Imagine that. Like, this dude is just
that'd be hilarious, man.
And he's just his mouthpiece.
He's just his mouthpiece. But I'm putting money on it. Bronny's gonna get drafted. At the lowest that Bronny's getting drafted is 10.
That's a hot take. I love it. I can't believe this. Honestly, we done, right? Like, there's not.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. Right? Yeah, we done.
Not about this. Like, we done with the show. Like,
yes. Oh no, yes, yeah.
Okay.
I think
I just wanted to make that clear.
We can end it on that.
We had other topics here.
A lot.
Nothing beating this.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah.
I found a way to awaken the sleeping giant, and I didn't think it was possible. I really didn't. And here we are. I just want to say once again, Derrick, this show is special. Regardless of where we are, regardless of where we are, where we're going is what matters. And this show is special.
Yes, sir.
So,
we're gonna
thank
wake
you
them
so
all
much
up.
For everything, dude. Yes, sir. We're gonna wake them all up.
We're gonna
get the doctor to wake them up, like my boy Jamal Hill said. Shit. But
yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say tee you up, please give them your handles and let them know where they could get all these great takes, all
Yes,
the
sir.
insight that you really need.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you can follow me if you want. My personal Derrick I'm sorry. At Derrick_OTS. That's DERRICK. Black way to spell it. But like the sign says, follow OTS Media Co. All social media platforms. OTSmediaco.com. Check out all the articles we have on there. And the different shows. We have other shows that are under the brand that cover a vast majority of topics. Check them out. Rate, review, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think. Give us, give your feedback and let us know what you guys think we're doing. How we're doing. Whatever areas think we could probably improve. We would love to hear it. Just give us a great review, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
To follow up with that, you can find me at Negron MMA on Twitter, as well as Chris Negron _ on Instagram. Got a lot of fun things coming up with the MMA archive. For the first time in history, I had a guest on the MMA archive, my boy Eric Betts Fights. Had a great time, learned a lot about MMA history from him. This is someone that's an OG, so check him out too. Got to prop up my guy. Make sure you check out that episode because it was a really fun one. One of the most fun times I had watching the card in my life.
Yeah.
And on top of all of that, this show, it's only right that I end it off the only way that I see fit, because I'm sitting here, you're pointing over there to the sign. Something happened to me. I felt something in my bones, and then I realized what it was. I had a That's So Raven moment, and you know what it was for me?
All right.
You know what it was? You got somehow that helmet right there that I'm pointing at right now.
Yeah.
Listen, somehow you're gonna get that thing to be remote controlled, and in 5 weeks from now, when Devontae Adams signs to the Eagles,
hey man,
you're gonna turn that on live on the show, and all I gotta say is once that helmet is spinning again, we back in business.
Hey man,
have a good one, y'all.
Yes, sir. We'll catch y'all later. Thanks for watching and or listening.
Peace.